Welcome back. This is episode 2 of the BEE Chamber podcast. We're super excited to be back. We're recording our second episode of our podcast. And this podcast is going to be covering a really important topic, the topic of Women's Month and Women's Day. I'm joined by 3 of my colleagues at the BEE Chamber. And it's really good to have them join us at this podcast recording, as well as going to actually just touch on a few topics regarding Women's Month and also hearing from them as individuals, their thoughts on Women's Month, as well as their experiences, as well as their opinions on what happens during the month of Women's Month, as well as anything they would like to share on this topic. So I'm joined by a few of my colleagues here at the BEE Chamber. I'm going to start on with my colleague on the right, just for her to introduce herself. Good, sir?
Hi everyone, my name is Kutsoma Tamata and I'm actually the team leader at the member marketing team in the marketing department.
Awesome. Chidozi?
Hi guys, my name is Chidozi Cosmos. I am the bursary liaison officer and I work primarily within the BEE Chamber's bursary department. Thanks for having me.
Great stuff. Cyril?
Hi everyone, okay, my name is Bebo Flojo. I am part of the BEE Chamber team and my role here at the BEE Chamber, I'm a certificate validator.
Okay.
So thank you for having me.
No, great stuff. Thank you all for joining us, and it's really exciting to have you join us for the session. And I'm going to jump right into it.
Yeah.
We're talking about the topic of Women's Month, something that is really significant to our country as South Africa. You all know that we've got quite a rich history. When I say rich, talking about a long history of segregation in South Africa.
Yeah.
And it's quite an important topic to talk about and make sure that voices are heard, opinions are shared, especially around this topic of Women's Month. So, Kutsa, I want to start with you. What does Women's Month mean to you as an individual?
When it comes to me as an individual, I believe that Women's Month is the month where women should actually be celebrated because of the role that they play in the society. Because if we can look at when it comes to women and male, we women actually do a lot of things as to compared to men. And what I'm happy about now is that now in the society we are given the same qualities as men. You know, there's no longer any inequality between male and females. So I believe that during this month of Women's Month, we need to be out there as women and be celebrated and be valued as the and be valued according to the value that we actually bring into the society.
No, definitely. And one of the things that I feel that, us as South Africans don't do often enough is celebrate this throughout the year. Yes, we're talking about Women's Month. We know it's the 9th of August, which is Women's Day in South Africa. But I feel like, we have to do it throughout the entire year and continue having the discussion in supporting women within the workplace or even in your personal environment. Like we need to always continuously support. So, Chidozi, just based on, that, the continuous support as well as, how best we can then, support women in the working environment. What are the challenges that you find within the working environment as a woman? Do you find that, there's sometimes, certain things that you deal with that are, difficult as a woman, or how do you find it?
So, personally speaking, I've been, if I can say, blessed or lucky to be in an organization that values women just as much as it values their males. We are given this equal platform, we all do equal jobs, tasks, we all benefited and rewarded equally. So I haven't really faced any challenges, but when you look at recent studies in terms of other women in other organizations, it's not always the same response, because sometimes just being a woman itself sometimes can be seen as a challenge in an organization. Some organizations are less likely to employ women because they know what, as a woman, she's probably going to have a child, she might be in her childbearing years, as a result, she might not work for 3 or 4 months, which they believe is going to put some strain on the organization. So I believe that it's one of the challenges we have to look into, because as part of being a woman, we are still human. And we all equally want to leave our own mark. We all want to partake in the economical growth. We all want to make and strive for our families. So that's just something, we are going there. We're taking steps. We are going towards the end goal. But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you've touched on something that is so sad. Imagine if you are as a woman that applying for a job and you fall pregnant, just before you start or even after you start, and the organization is not supportive of that type of an environment or that type of situation. It's so sad to see those situations because again, the anatomy between male and female differs. So at the end of the day, what do organizations expect? I mean, if families want to start families or individuals want to start families, you can't hold that against them in respect of, falling pregnant and being a part of that process. So yes, that's one of the biggest challenges that are out there. So thank you for sharing that because I think that it's something that we need to speak about more and more often to create awareness and to allow organizations to really understand that it's, again, a supportive mechanism that needs to be introduced in the organization. All right. So speaking of supportive mechanisms, and again, Sebo, thank you so much for joining us. We're talking about Women's Month. You are a male and you're joining us and talking to us about this topic. I want to ask you, how do you feel or what do you think males can do within the working environment to support women? What are the types of things that we can do generally as individuals, as male individuals, to support women in the workplace?
So I think on my side, so now I'm working in an environment where there's like more women than men. Like here at the chamber, most of that there's more women that. I'm sorry about it. It's such a
Relax, yes.
So please can you ask that question again?
So support mechanisms.
Yes.
I think that we as males also have a duty within the workplace, and I'm a very firm believer in terms of equality, especially around the workplace. We want to try to give opportunities to everyone and equal opportunities to that note. So when it comes to our male counterparts in respect of the working environment, how do you think we can support women in the working place? Is there anything that comes to mind that you want to share that shows that we can be more supportive as males?
Like now, as I was saying, I'm here at the chamber. So the dominating people here are women. So we are given the same opportunities as like men. So most women here in the chamber, they are given equal opportunities as us as men. So in other companies, maybe they should do the same thing, like give like more opportunities to females. Like for instance, now like when you check most of the companies, like where there's a woman who is leading the company, so like women are born leaders. So like on my opinion, I can say that women are better leaders than
Awesome. No, I think I mean, we sometimes underrepresent the qualities of women in the workplace. And we often not notice that from our organization perspective, and this is the things that we start to need, or we need to start noticing more often. One of the things that I've also come across that glaringly stares at us, but nobody really talks about it, is the conflict that happens within the workplace between male and female. And one of the things that I think as males that we need to do more often is not let things go unnoticed. Where there are situations that we can see, even if it's between colleagues, if we can see a situation where a male counterpart has an argument or disagreement with a female counterpart, and it becomes a lot more personal. And it becomes a lot more aggressive and undermining the female. And if us as males witness those types of encounters, if we keep quiet, we feed into the situation. So we need to also support female counterparts where they're not raising their voices, to be their voice as well. Sometimes it's not always easy to raise your voice as a female because you feel like you're going to be victimized, you feel like you're going to now be treated even more differently in the workplace. And that's why we don't actually talk about those challenges, or females don't talk about these challenges. So I think as a support mechanism, we need to notice these types of encounters. We need to intervene as male individuals to make sure that it does get addressed in some form. So definitely something that organizations should consider as
Just to add on to that field, because in my department, we're all females.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't have
Yeah.
a male. And I believe in the philosophy that whoever does the work best should be given the chance to do the work.
No, of
Be
course.
it male, be it female. And also in the BE chamber, our executives, our COO is a woman herself.
Yes.
Our finance executive is a woman herself. HR executive is a woman herself. So it just shows you that women continuously, over the times of history, we've continuously shown that we are capable
Yes.
of doing the job. We just need to have the platform to showcase that we can do the job.
And
Yeah.
also the support.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. The support mechanisms, the support, platforms, and just giving the opportunity to females to be on that platform is just what is needed.
Yes.
And pulling it back now to broad-based Black economic empowerment, and all of my colleagues are really aware of what we do at the Chamber. We focus on broad-based Black economic empowerment. We drive and implement and we support and advise on sustainable BEE strategies. And from a BEE scorecard perspective, we know that there's quite a big focus on women when it comes to the different areas of the scorecard.
Yes.
So, Kutso, to you, I mean, how important do you think is broad-based Black economic empowerment
Yeah.
versus women empowerment? Do you see a link between the two?
Definitely, because when it comes to BE, I feel that I would say that, on my opinion, I'll say that it favors women, especially Black women, because since before, when there was not, when BE was not there, women were not given chances or opportunities same as male, or maybe Black women or white women were not given the same opportunities. So since the BE came in, Black women are now given more opportunities. They're actually given a chance to actually go out there and climb the ladder in terms of being in the top, being able to be CEOs, HR managers, HR executives, those higher positions. So I believe that when it comes to BE, it did a good thing in terms of how the women are actually treated in the workspace and also in companies. Because if you can look at the scorecard, if it happens that in your company you have a female that is actually a Black female that is actually at the top, you get to get points and you score more than a company that doesn't have a female executive, or maybe has most white people in the higher positions. So I believe that now, in terms of that, even when you get to higher, you would look at that in terms of the equalities to say, okay, if it happens that I get to hire a Black female and I put them in a higher position as a company, I'll get to score points as well.
Yeah.
So I would believe that definitely it works together in terms of empowerment.
No, of course.
Yeah.
You also use a very key word, opportunity.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of companies think that broad-based Black economic empowerment is just about token positions.
No.
Yeah.
Meaning that let's just put people in
It's
certain
not
positions
like
for the sake of points and the sake of getting a score. But we've seen that through many organizations that there are capable women to be in certain positions. And Chidozi, you spoke about that just now, about the person being able to do the job. And I think gone are the days of the excuse to say that we can't find Black women for certain positions, or we cannot find Black people for certain positions. I think that's just an excuse that is there. And then you find companies making the wrong decision by just appointing somebody for the sake of appointing somebody, and then blaming the legislation to say that it's not working.
Yeah.
So Chidozi, what's your thoughts on that in terms of the linkages? Do you see a very clear link? Kunsus created a very good link in terms of the employment side, but do you see a link from a business perspective?
Yeah, I do. Yes, so I'm not a BE specialist or consultant, but I do see a link if you look at women empowerment and broad-based Black economic empowerment, especially if you're looking at businesses that can support women-owned organizations under, I'm not sure, but it could be under the ACD bracket. Whereas an organization can equally, support, develop, empower women-owned organizations that could also give them, we sort of giving them the stepping stones that they need to also enter, like I mentioned before, into the whole point of opening a business is to try and be part of the economic game.
Yeah.
In terms of making and earning money.
Of course.
Let us give, so organizations, large organizations are also putting their mark in there by supporting women-owned businesses. We also, that's the support I was talking about, where we're also giving them, like Kuto said, the ladder that they need to climb there to get to where they need to be.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's a very clear linkage, and it's actually under the procurement scope.
Thank you.
So there's actually, recognition for spending on black-owned women enterprises of at least 30%.
Yeah.
Now, that 30% also is questionable from a policy perspective. Some people believe that we should maybe increase that in the future to be a higher percentage of black women ownership. And some people believe that they can't find these businesses that are 30% black women owned. My advice always when we have those types of discussions is you need to go and create them. You need to find a method of how you can bring those businesses into into your supply chain, and also then grow and develop them for sustainability.
Yes.
So you can start
That's the
procuring.
way.
You can start procuring from
That's the
them.
way else.
Yeah.
No, so I mean, we sometimes often take the legislation for granted, and we don't understand that there's some really powerful tools that can be used in the legislation to drive women empowerment.
Yeah.
Whether it's on the management control side, whether it's on the procurement side or the ESG side, there's definitely tools that can be used. Organizations need to just be, mindful of those tools and start using them a bit more aggressively and a bit more sustainably. Seth, I want to come to you and again, asking the question around Women's Month, and maybe a specific question to you in respect of, you growing up as an individual. Who have you identified as a woman that has inspired you in some way or form? It could be a relative, or it could be a celebrity. It could be somebody, within your community that you've actually, just taken note of that has really inspired you as an individual. And maybe just share something about an experience that you might have had with that person. Tell.
Okay, so on my side, since I should be the Women's Month, so the most person that I will celebrate is my partner. I'm here today because of her. So I'm here today because of her. So, but I won't celebrate her only, but most people who are around me, most women who are around me, I'll also celebrate that.
Yes.
But they played an important role to me. On my dark days, they're there for me. So, but mostly my mother, and she is the most supportive person. So, as a Women's Month Day, she's the most person I'm going to celebrate. But mostly here in the beach, where my colleagues, they are always here for me. They are very supportive. So,
No, great stuff. So, Seba, I know you're not saying that just because it's the beach. It's definitely true.
No, it's definitely true because most women that are being surrounded are from here, the beach. I met them here at the beach, so they played an important role too.
Yes.
Like they are very supportive.
No, that's really good to hear. I mean, yes, all organizations have their challenges. We've also had our challenges internally, but we always try our best to see how we can be creating support mechanisms. Whether it's at a executive level, senior, or any level within the organization. And so I think you're sharing that from your perspective in respect of how you feel supported by the women at the BE chamber. So it's really exciting too.
Because I'm always here, like, either at work or home. So if I'm at home, I'm here. So, yeah.
Okay. No, great stuff. Chidozi, anyone that has inspired you growing up, relatives, celebrity, anybody that you've noticed that has really given you something to think about?
Yeah. Just like Tebo said, my as well, it has to be my mother. My mother has showcased me that there's so much to a woman that's skin deep. And she's always told me, don't always try to aim for, they say that the sky is the limit, but why not miss the sky and aim for the stars? Let's push it up. She's always encouraging me, never stop, never settle, keep going. The road is very hard, it's rocky, you're gonna need some twists and turns, but of course, you always gonna end up at your end goal. So you have to
also to walk.
So, Chidozie, I mean, you mentioning, and Teba also you mentioning, you know, both of you, your mothers are the inspiration. I'm also assuming that, you know, whatever qualities that you learn from your mother or even your parents, you're going to be instilling that in your own selves. And hopefully one day, you know, with your kids, if you want to have kids one day, they're going to be saying exactly the same. You know, somebody 20 years down the line might be asking them the question, who has inspired you for Women's Month, as in your child or your children? And I'm sure they're going to be definitely saying one of the parents or even the mother within the relationship. So yeah, it's really exciting to hear both of you, you know, mention your mother. Good, I'm coming to you. Is it also your mom or
my mother?
Mother takes it all.
No, a mother, you know, the thing about a mother is someone that's very nurturing. Your mother, it's your biggest cheerleader. Like you can fall so many times.
Yes.
Your mother will always be there. So I think that's the reason why in most cases all of us would actually mention our mothers, because those women are actually pillars. I would say my mother's a rock. Like, I've watched that woman while growing up and how strong she is, like, and how she has fought against all odds, you know, and still came out strong. So I'd say that also me as a woman, I would definitely follow those footsteps, you know, because as I have mentioned that she's a pillar, she's a rock. So me also as a woman, I would definitely be something like that to my daughters. Yes. You get it, or to, okay, I have a daughter, not daughters.
Yes.
My daughter, yeah, to my daughter, and then, you know, I would like to be someone that she would actually look up to as a role model, to say, you know what, I want to follow my mother's footsteps. I want to be like my mother. As much as I'm actually in this environment or in the work environment, I'm actually that person that, you know what, I want to work hard. I want to be an example to other women to say, you know what, if Kuta can do this as a woman, I also can definitely do it. So that's why I'm saying that, you know, and the other thing, I know that we've mentioned our mothers, but I also have a celebrity woman that I actually look up to. I would say Oprah Winfrey, because I've followed Oprah Winfrey. I know where she actually started and how many times she has fallen and how many times she had to pick herself up to actually be where she is right now, you know. So I'm very inspired, and there's a lot of women out there that are actually up there, and I believe that also myself can actually get to that point where people can look up to me as an inspiration. Yeah.
No, that's really awesome. So I mean, I think we all want to do better, inspire others, and also live by example. I mean, we are not perfect individuals. I think that we all have our flaws, we all have our challenges. We are never going to be the most perfect human being or individual. But wherever we can, you know, those small little encounters that we can inspire or do better or assist somebody in a different way, I think we need to take advantage of that. And I think we need to, you know, focus on those areas because, you know, yes, with kids, they do look at you as a learning curve, as in we learn everything from our parents. And we watch their mannerisms when we're growing up. We watch their train of thought, their words they say, the way they communicate, and we pick up on that. And then it starts to inform our own personalities as individuals. So I think being that inspiration, being that person that is going to inspire is going to be, you know, something really good for the youth that is yet to come, you know, in our future generations in South Africa. So speaking of that, perhaps maybe, Tsebo, just a word of advice from your side. What would you want to share with young females that are aspiring to enter into the working environment or even to start their own business? Any piece of advice that you'd like to share with them?
The only thing that I would say, they don't need to doubt themselves that if I can do it, they can also do it.
Exactly.
So that's the simplest thing that I can say. If I can do it, they can also do it, but I know that they can do it better than me.
Wow. Okay. No, that's great to hear. Well, thank you for that. Chidozie, anything that you want to share with
I actually have something to share, but before I get to that, I actually have a question for you, Neil.
Oh, okay.
Which woman inspires you?
I'm going to say my mother.
The mother wins.
I think for all of us, and So you also touched on the concept of nurturing.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we grow up and we see things as we grow up, and we learn from that, and we take that strength from certain individuals in our personal lives, and definitely again from a woman's perspective of inspiration for me, my mother. So yeah. I think I answered your question, but we all have the same answer.
Yeah, true.
Which is good. But yeah, to share your advice for young women in terms of any advice or any supportive words that you want to share with young women in South Africa.
Yeah, to make it short and sweet, we just have to say, baby girl, you've got this. It might look tough.
Yeah.
The journey is not meant to be easy, but the reward is always great.
Definitely.
So keep it up.
Yeah, that's really, really beautiful. That's really inspirational. So I'm sure that's going to be resonating with a lot of individuals. As soon as they hear those words from yourself, they're definitely going to hear it and they're going to feel it. So thank you for sharing. Good. So from your side,
From my side, what I'd actually say is, as a woman, go to school. Go to school, because get that degree, get that diploma. Because once you have that paper in your hand, or you have your name written to that paper to say diploma for whoever, nothing can change that. You're going far. Once you have a paper, you like the reward, and nothing will actually challenge you. You'll be able to do whatever you want to do. You will be able to do the career that you want to do, because to be honest, right now in this, let me just say, in the society right now, or when you go out and looking for jobs and whatsoever, a paper is very important. You might have all the experience that you need, you might have the knowledge and stuff, but if you don't have that paper, you might not be wherever that you want to be in life. So what I would say, as a woman, in order for you to shine, you need to go to school and get the paper.
No, awesome. So thanks for that. I mean, focusing on education and also development and training of yourself as an individual is always important. I sometimes feel that our system in South Africa, or just generally within the working place, is sometimes flawed. You mentioned it now, where somebody could have a wealth of experience, but when it comes to the application, they're going to be, where's your paper? Where's your diploma or degree? So we hope that for the future that those types of things can be reconsidered. Yes, we want to make sure education components are really important, but there's certain individuals that have faced challenges where they never have had the opportunity to complete matric, to even study further, but they've managed to get into a working place. They've managed to gain experience, and that obviously goes quite a long way for those individuals, because they can and are capable of doing the work without the paper. But it's a really balanced approach that people need to manage as individuals, and also manage in terms of where they want to be in the future within their careers. So I appreciate the messages that you shared, especially to aspiring young women in respect of what they would want to become one day. From my side, I want to share a message with our male counterparts, specifically looking at celebrating Women's Month, looking at how we as individuals can support women in the working environment. I think we need to do better. We need to talk more openly about this topic of Women's Month. I think a lot of people shy away of having these conversations. I think in organizations that do not have those conversations, don't have that good corporate culture. Whereas when you do talk about these situations, you find that it is a lot more comfortable to implement new strategies, new policies, because of the conversation already had. So I will leave our audience and our viewers with something to just think about, and it's a quote that I really live by myself personally, and it's the quote of, "We rise by lifting others." And I think that is what we need to do as male counterparts within the workplace. We might see challenges that our female counterparts that are facing. We need to be there to also lift up, rise, empower, and provide those platforms, as you mentioned, Kutso, for females. And if we don't do it, then it's not going to get done. So we also need to play our role in that environment. All right. Any last words from my colleagues? Tsepo, just starting with you before we wrap up our session today. Anything that you would want to share before we start wrapping up?
Nothing much. You've Said enough.
Wow, okay.
So,
All right. No, thank you for joining us, Seba. We really appreciate your presence and also your views and your thoughts. It's really been insightful.
Yeah.
Josie, any parting comments?
I just want to say thank you. I'm always grateful for the opportunities I've had in my life. I'm always grateful of being part of such a great organization such as the BE Chamber, who's always, striving to leave their mark in everything, no matter what we do. So that's just one of the good things I'm happy about. So I'm just really, really grateful.
No, and we didn't tell you to say that, so. Thank you for those words, Josie. Kunsil, from your side?
No, on my side, I don't have much to say. I'm just going to say thank you very much for having me and giving me this opportunity to actually express myself in terms of how I actually see or view women in the society. So no, thank you very much.
No, awesome. So thank you for your,
Thank you so
to the
much.
three of you for your attendance. To our viewers, thank you so much for joining us and listening in to our episode 2 of the BE Chamber podcast. We hope that you find our conversations insightful. We hope that you find the session quite interesting to just watch and listen to. And we're looking forward to episode 3. So keep yourselves tuned. We will be then back with episode 3 very shortly. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you guys. Bye.